Hey guys, Shirosan here, and I am back today finally with my video about the JET program's Tokyo orientation. So I have been sitting on this video for a little while now, just because I've had no voice. I haven't been able to do the voiceover for it. So I figured instead of sitting in front of the camera for you all, I would do another one of these Hobonichi like with me kind of videos, just so it gives you something to look at. It's all the pictures and everything that I took. Oh, there's an earthquake. Alright, and we are back. So there was just a little earthquake, so I decided to stop to assess what was going on, but it was just a baby one. So yeah, basically it's just a lot of photos that I took while I was at orientation. I was going to try and film some footage, but honestly it was really boring just to be there in itself, so I figured that the footage would come out really boring because you just sit in lectures basically for 2 days. So I decided not to do that. Alright, so let's go back to the very beginning. So obviously I left Australia on the 23rd of July, as you can see there, and my flight got us in. So we left in the morning and we got in around, I think it was like around 7 p.m. Japan's time. So we got in to the airport. As soon as we got off the plane, there were people waiting for us, and basically they like ushered us onto like immigration straight away, where obviously it was such a mess. So there was only 2 officers on for some reason. It's like we were the only plane to have got in that time, so they just forgot to like have staff there. For about 10 minutes or so there was like no one there at all, and we were all just standing there not really knowing what was going on. And then 2 people came, so there was about 30 of us, just under 30 of us from the Brisbane consulate, and then I think it was Melbourne's consulate or Adelaide's, I can't really remember, but another plane of jets obviously, or Sydney maybe, landed at the same time of us. So there was like, I want to say just under 100 people, and we were all just like standing around not knowing what to do, waiting for these 2 like officers to put everyone through. So when you go through, you have to take a picture for your Zydeal card, which is like your alien registration card that you have in Japan. It basically is just like your ID, so you don't have to carry around your passport or anything, just proving that you are a resident of Japan. Yep, so once we all got that, we pretty much had to wait for everyone else to get theirs. In the meantime, we had to get our luggage. Now, I highly suggest that you go to the bathroom either before you clear customs or straight after, like before you get your luggage, because you will not get another chance to go to the bathroom. So as soon as we got our luggage, there was all these people in like JET program t-shirts, pretty much just ushering us along down like a massive hall like in the airport to right down the very end where our bus was waiting. So just before you get on the bus, you have to send off one of your suitcases, and so I believe we're supposed to get billed on that like later on, but basically that suitcase you send off, you can only take 1 to Tokyo orientation, so obviously make sure that you have like everything that you're going to need for those first 3 days in 1 suitcase and not spread over the 2, because you don't really get a chance to move the items around, and yeah, you don't want to turn up not having what you need. So then you do that and you get on the bus, and like I said, we got in at like 7 p.m. our plane. We probably didn't get like moving from the bus until maybe just before 9, and then we didn't get to the hotel until it was I think just after 11, and then they took us into a room and like sat us down, gave us these bags with all these documents in it and the timetables and everything. And yeah, so we did that. It didn't go very long, thankfully. I think if you arrive during the day, it's a little bit longer, like they talk a little bit more, but I think they were very sympathetic for us that we wanted to sleep. So it probably maybe only took like 10 or 15 minutes, and then we pretty much had to find our like name slip type thing to figure out what room we were in and who we were rooming with. I was lucky and was only placed with one other girl, and she was actually the girl that I sat next to on a plane, so that was great. She was awesome. So yeah, then we went to bed, and obviously the next day, day 1. Now, gonna be completely honest, I feel Tokyo orientation is a complete and utter waste of time. I don't even really remember day one at all. All I remember was there was lots of speeches from various people, you know, with the organization, but I took nothing in. I was so tired, and I mean, I'm coming from Australia, so like where I live in Australia is an hour ahead of Japan. I don't even have to deal with jet lag and that, and I could barely stay awake and stay focused. That I sympathize with like people coming from America and all that do actually have a big time difference. Yeah, so day one was basically just heaps of speeches. You have your opening like ceremony, then for orientation you do need to wear extremely like formal clothing. You need to have a blazer and all that jazz. During the first ceremony you can't take your blazer off, but you can for all the ones after that, so it wasn't too bad because you're getting there in summer obviously. Day two was a little bit more useful. You get separated into like whether you're elementary, junior high or senior high, and you go to classes based on that. So I'm in elementary, so we just went to some like workshops that were actually pretty helpful. I wish that maybe day one had a bit more of that in it, and that day two, like I feel like, yeah, it was very unorganized in a way. I don't know if it was maybe just elementary school, but I don't know, I felt like they were supposed to be demonstrating team teaching at one point, and it was so unorganized and both of them didn't know what to do that it was like counterproductive. Yeah, then I don't know, I didn't feel like I got a lot from it, and maybe it's because I have a teaching background already, like maybe, and I even wrote this in the notes that the classes, some of the classes, although they're great for obviously people that, you know, have never taught and don't know what to expect, but for those of us that have, it was just a real waste of time. But you know, it was fun. We were in a nice hotel, we got to explore Shinjuku a little bit in the afternoons, and obviously we got to meet heaps of other jets, so it did have its highlights, but yeah. And then day three is basically when you leave for your prefecture, so some of you may get on planes and trains and that. I went in a bus with all the other Ibaraki jets, and we went to Mito, which is like the center of Ibaraki, and basically we all sat around waiting essentially to be adopted by our towns. We sat there, they called our names, we stood up, shook hands with our organization, and then we left with them. It was a really strange day. It was very full on though, so yeah, basically that is the gist of Tokyo orientation. If you guys do have any questions, leave it down below. Like I said, I feel like it was a sort of a waste of time, but at the same time it was good as well. But this is just a very like basic guideline of what to expect at orientation. I doubt it really changes year to year, so you're going to get the idea of what you're going to do. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a huge thumbs up, and I'm sorry if my videos have been a little bit delayed. Like I said, I was sick, so a lot of them are just sitting there and I'm recording the voiceovers for them now. But I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!